let's get clarity about clarity, because clarity can be about so many things. So I just wrote down a few things. Clarity can be about communication. It can be about, what do you want from me? What do you want to get across? And so basically clarity is then a short-term goal, but it's a very important one. So here's the thing. When we talk to, well, in daily communication, we think we always understand what the other wants and we always get across what the other wants. Well, if we think we understand that, that's usually a good thing. But when it comes to getting things across, oh my God, that can be a real problem. So today I had this talk with someone and he said to me, I was so surprised. I was going to say, I can't do it under these circumstances. In this case, it was meeting up like once a week. That's not a long-term relationship for me. And I already said to the guy, go talk to her and explain what you want, what's good for you and what you can handle, what you cannot handle. So the funny thing was that she exactly had that same thing in her mind. She was like, oh, yeah, if I want a long-term relationship, then I don't want it just once a week. You know, seeing one another once a week. Well, in this case, their work and their schedules are completely not aligned. They're not in sync. So if they want to spend time together, they basically have to stay with one another. Well, let's put it this way. It's not like they stay with one another 24/7 because each has to work. But what time do you have left? Well, that's actually the time that you don't have to work. So probably when each goes to sleep, maybe have dinner, you know, all those kind of things. So communication in that aspect, like, hey, what does she want from me? What do I want from her? It can take an interesting turn once you become clear. So in this case, both of them thought, I'm going to break up because this is not going to work. But once they had expressed themselves, it was like, hey, we've got another shot. We're just going to do it very differently than we normally would do it. So kudos to the both of them. When it comes to doing something on the spot, you know, when you are like spontaneously, you think, oh, someone asks you something, you think, oh yeah, we can meet up, or I can borrow you this. Do you know those moments when you do something very spontaneously and you are like, oh my God, what did I promise? What did I say? I don't want to go out tonight, but I said I was going to go do it. I don't want to give away this stuff, something that's very important, but I just said I'd do it because I didn't think I would need it. I said, yeah, you can borrow it, but I never said for how long. Those things are clarity too. And when it comes to people who are dealing with autism, the moment that you say something, their mind goes like haywire. It can go in every direction. So you have to be very specific with what you want. So if you're not specific, chances are you won't get it. They won't respond to it. They won't answer it because they have to consider what they think you might be talking about. So clarity comes in all terms and in all sizes, in all areas. What I love to talk about when it comes to clarity is not just the aspect of communication, which I will be doing in the next few days. So let me be clear. I am going to do a clarity challenge, and this is the introduction of the clarity challenge. So tonight, which will be in a little under 3 hours, so that's 6 Eastern time, 3 Pacific time, I also will be going live on Facebook and YouTube, and you can join me there as a guest if you want to, and we're going to talk some more about clarity. So to be clear, this is sort of like an introduction, and also it's a different platform. And I just like to, think about a little something, brainstorm a little bit, and then later on I'm going to do it on a different platform. And yes, if you want to join, of course you can watch it, but you can also say, hey, Lexi, I would like a PDF or a document or whatever you've got, and send it to me. So you can do that, just to be clear. Clarity, right? We're talking about clarity. So getting back to the part of communication, communication is a very important thing. And like I said, it's something which is about the short term. You need and want to do it straight away. But sometimes it's important to actually think about it a little bit longer, in case you are very emotional, for instance, and because you don't want to get something across you meant a little bit differently. Perhaps because you didn't think it through, perhaps because the other one could understand it a little bit different, various reasons. But let's talk about clarity when it comes to the future and what you are doing and what you are planning to do. So again, we can look at the short term, but we can also look at the long-term effects. Because clarity, when we talk about it, it's all about not just what it means, but also what the effect is going to be when you look at the immediate future, but also at the long-term future. Because the clarity is about you knowing what to do, but it's also about the other knowing what to think and what to perceive and what they actually, can expect from you. So getting back to the long-term and the short-term goals. If you think about, okay, what am I going to do today, for instance? Thank you. Then one of those things could be, when you look at your schedule for the day, that you only think about what's important today. But you may not, hey Johnny, you may not be thinking about the future. Like, okay, what is this going to get me long term? So for instance, the guy who just joined, Johnny, we've known each other for a long time already. I don't know, maybe 3 years. And we got to know one another because he bought a keyboard. I sold the keyboard and he bought it from me. And the cool thing was, we needed to figure out something, so we went to this music store. And, well, we got to talk about numerous things. So, fast forwarding, I've learned that this guy knows a lot of things when it comes to search engine optimization. He is so amazing when it comes to that. And I've been in awe for a while now how he does certain things. So when it comes to clarity, I know a lot of things he does. No discussion about it. But when it comes to what exactly to do to get at a specific spot and to actually do all those steps, know all the programs, I know he's way better than I am. So recently I asked him, please help me out. And that's kind of cool, because when it comes to clarity and you want to build a team, you want to know who can I trust, who can I depend on, and who not. Again, clarity can be seen in so many aspects of life, of business, wherever you want to go. And that's why it's so important, because the question is, do we know what we're talking about? So earlier today, when I was talking to someone who owns business, he said, well, customer has approached me and something to do with a certain type of software, and they expected him to know all about it just because he pays for the software. So, and we're purely talking about them being able to have the software on there. but it's software which is linked to Windows. So other than them being able to actually have the software on their PCs, that's all he does. He doesn't do any support when it comes to understanding how it works. He doesn't know how it works, and he has no intention of figuring out how it works. So then, when something went wrong and they had questions, he got a little upset. He was like, hey, I don't want to do this. Why are you coming to me? And I said, you need to be clear about what they can expect from you. I'll be the first one to admit I'm not always that specific myself. But normally when it comes to agreements, because I have worked with companies who had contracts which were in the millions, I did know what to do when it came to clarity. And, you know, it doesn't matter how many people we are talking about. It doesn't matter which amount we are talking about. It doesn't matter which company size we're talking about. In the essence, clarity is about what do you want from me? What can you expect from me? And yes, then we get back to spontaneity. What if you all of a sudden just go like, bam, this is what I want, this is what I would like to do, and you haven't thought about it? Well, that's the hard thing, because then you need to create clarity about what you did mean. And lots of people are scared when it comes to that part. Lots of people are like, yeah, I wanted to get something across. I just don't know how. So communication, again, very important factor. But like I said, I wanted to talk about something else, which had to do with dreams and goals. And yeah, I would love it if Mariella would be here, about dreams and goals and how to achieve this. And sometimes that means asking for support, for instance, getting clear about this is what I can do, this is what I cannot do. And if I want to do certain things and change my future, then I'm going to need some assistance, some support. Just like I said, you know, I know this guy, Johnny. He's helping me out. Like I talked about with the other one, the business guy who was talking to his customer. And actually, it's very funny because Ba actually says something about Mariella. And she actually ran into that same thing because she wanted to do things, but she was busy all the time with her kid. And since her kid took up all her time, she couldn't do anything that she wanted. She couldn't express herself. So her long-term goals, they were far away because this was about surviving, basically surviving. Like, how do I deal with a child on my own who needs attention around the clock, 24/7? So again, then it comes to support and it comes to the team. So let's talk about clarity again, long-term and short-term. And if anyone wants to join, like Tanya, I know she's also talking about clarity, then please do. Let me know. What is it you want to accomplish when you look in the future? Not the near future, but the future as in maybe in 10 or maybe in 20 years. And what you consider clarity now, does that actually help you to achieve what it is you want to achieve long term? So clarity is not just about right now, although right now is very important. It's directly linked to if you are not specific enough now, you don't create clarity now, then what's going to happen in the future? Because the things you may want to do or you dream about might all be postponed. Because right now, at this moment, in this instant, you are not doing the things you would like to do. Or you are not talking to the people you should be talking to. or because you don't dare to get across what you want to get across. So I've given you a lot of things to think about when it comes to clarity and when it comes to long-term goals, short-term goals, the future, how you get across what you want to do. I've talked about communication, I've talked about the dreams, I've talked about expectations and agreements. And all those things are each very important. You want to see more from the Clarity Challenge? Then go click over there and you will be taken there.